Welcome to English Mastery Voyage channel.
A Spring Tale. Spring had arrived in Green Meadow, bringing life and beauty to every corner. The icy grip of winter had finally melted away, revealing the hidden treasures of nature. Birds chirped sweet melodies from the budding trees, while the gentle wind carried the perfume of blooming flowers. Emma, a young girl with curious eyes, loved spring more than any other season. She spent every morning exploring the meadow, her shoes brushing against the soft green grass, damp with morning dew. The sun bathed the land with its warm, golden glow, and the entire meadow seemed to sparkle like a jewel. One crisp morning, Emma noticed something extraordinary. Amidst a patch of vibrant wildflowers stood a single, dazzling butterfly. Its wings were a masterpiece of colors shimmering blue, radiant yellow, and a touch of fiery red. "How beautiful you are," Amma Howe whispered, crouching low to admire the delicate creature. The butterfly flapped its wings as if to say hello, then glided gracefully into the sky. Driven by curiosity, Emma followed it, weaving through clusters of flowers that swayed gently in the breeze. Along the way, she noticed how spring had painted the landscape with every shade of green and dotted it with blooms of pink, purple, and white. Bees hummed, collecting nectar, and rabbits hopped merrily among the bushes. The butterfly led her to an old oak tree at the edge of the meadow, where a surprise awaited her. Tucked at the base of the tree was a small nest made of twigs and leaves. Inside lay 3 tiny eggs, speckled with colors of the earth.
Emma smiled,
realizing that new life was waiting to be born. Spring wasn't just a season of beauty, it was a season of renewal, a time when the world awakened from its slumber. As Emma sat beneath the oak tree, watching the butterfly flutter away, she felt a deep sense of joy and wonder. She realized that spring's true magic wasn't just in the flowers or the sunshine, but in the promise of new beginnings that it brought. The Sunlit Quest. Summer had embraced Sunnyville with its boundless energy and scorching sunshine. The air shimmered with heat, and the endless blue sky invited everyone outside. For Lily, Ben, and Mia, 3 inseparable friends, summer was the ultimate season of adventure and discovery. On a bright morning, a trio packed their backpacks with snacks and water bottles, ready to explore the countryside. The cicadas' lively chorus filled the air as they set off along a dusty path surrounded by wildflowers. Lily, the most curious of the group, pointed out the fluttering butterflies, while Ben, always the practical one, carried a map he had drawn from their previous adventures. Mia, with her boundless enthusiasm, skipped ahead, her laughter carrying through the warm breeze. Their first stop was the sparkling stream that snaked through the countryside. The cool, clear water glistened like diamonds under the blazing sun. "Let's cool off," Mia exclaimed, kicking off her sandals and splashing into the stream. The others quickly joined, laughing as the refreshing water splashed their faces. Tiny fish swam gracefully beneath their feet, and the heat of the sun felt less oppressive as they played. continuing their journey, they stumbled upon a vast sunflower field. The golden blooms seemed to stretch endlessly, their faces turned toward the sun. "It feels like we're walking through a painting," Lily said in awe. Ben nodded, capturing the scene with his camera, while Mia danced among the towering flowers, her energy as vibrant as the season itself. As noon approached, the sun was at its peak, and the ground radiated warmth like a hot stove. They found shelter under a giant oak tree, spreading out their picnic blanket in its shade. Sharing sandwiches, fresh fruit, and laughter, the trio enjoyed the sounds of summer, the hum of bees, the rustling leaves, and distant echoes of farm life. As evening painted the sky in hues of orange, pink, and purple, the friends discovered a hidden meadow alive with fireflies. The tiny lights blinked like stars, creating a magical atmosphere. They lay on the soft grass, watching the first stars appear in the night sky. "This is the best part of summer," Ben said softly. "The adventure, the beauty, and being together." Despite the burning heat, they knew that summer's true charm lay in its vibrancy, its energy, and the memories it created. As they headed home under the twinkling sky, their hearts were filled with the magic of the season. An autumn promise. The golden season of autumn had arrived in Willow Creek, painting the world in shades of amber, crimson, and burnt orange. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the earthy scent of fallen leaves. Margaret, an elderly woman with kind eyes and silver hair, sat on a wooden bench in the park. Her hands rested on her lap, holding a letter she cherished dearly. Every autumn, Margaret visited this park. It was here, many years ago, that she and her late husband, Thomas, had first met. Under the canopy of fiery red maple trees, they had shared their dreams, laughter, and love. Now, the park was a place of memories, a sacred space where Margaret could feel his presence. On this particular afternoon, Margaret noticed a little boy playing with a red kite. The kite soared high, dancing against the backdrop of the azure sky. The boy's laughter was infectious, reminding Margaret of the joy she and Thomas had shared. She smiled, feeling a gentle warmth despite the chill in the air. The boy's kite got tangled in the branches of a tree. Margaret watched as the boy struggled, unable to reach it. Gathering her strength, she walked over to him. "Need a hand?" she asked softly. The boy nodded. "It's stuck, and I can't get it down." Margaret smiled and pointed to a nearby branch. "If you pull gently from this side, it might come free." Together, they worked to untangle the kite. When it was finally free, the boy beamed with gratitude. "Thank you, ma'am," he said, his eyes shining. Margaret nodded, her heart swelling with a sense of purpose. As she watched the boy run off with his kite, she whispered, "Thomas, your love continues to guide me." She returned to her bench and opened the letter. It was one Thomas had written to her during his final days, filled with words of love and a promise to always be with her in spirit. The trees around her swayed in the gentle breeze. their leaves whispering secrets of the past and hopes for the future. Autumn was not just a season of endings. It was a season of reflection and connection. For Margaret, it was a reminder that love, like the seasons, was eternal. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in a golden glow, Margaret felt a profound sense of peace. She knew that Thomas was still with her, in the rustling leaves, the laughter of children, and the beauty of the autumn landscape. A winter's solace. Winter had arrived in the small village of Frostwood, cloaking the world in a blanket of snow. The trees stood bare, their branches reaching toward the overcast sky like silent shadows. The cold was sharp, biting at the faces of anyone who ventured outside, while the wind howled softly through the narrow streets. It was a season of quiet and solitude. Alina, a young woman with a heavy heart, wrapped herself in a thick coat and stepped outside her cottage. The crunch of snow under her boots broke the deep silence. She loved the beauty of winter, but this year it felt different. Her father, who had always filled their home with laughter and warmth, had passed away in autumn. Now, the house felt as empty as the frozen fields around her. She wandered through the village, her breath forming soft clouds in the icy air. The streets were nearly deserted, as most villagers chose to stay indoors, huddled near their fires. As Alina walked, she couldn't help but notice the melancholic beauty of the season. The frost on the windows looked like delicate artwork, and the snow-covered rooftops sparkled faintly under the pale sunlight. Elena's feet led her to the frozen lake on the edge of the village. It was a place she often visited with her father. They used to skate together, their laughter echoing across the icy surface. Now, the lake was silent, reflecting the gray sky above. She sat on a fallen log, her gloved hands clutching a small journal her father had given her last winter. Flipping through its pages, she found his familiar handwriting. He had written poems about life, love, and the changing seasons. One poem caught her eye. Though winter comes with icy breath, it teaches life beyond its death. For every snowflake softly falls, a whispered hope within its call. Tears welled up in Elena's eyes as she read. For the first time since her father's passing, she felt a glimmer of comfort. She realized that winter, despite its sadness, held a quiet beauty and a promise of renewal. The snow would melt, the trees would bloom again, and the world would awaken. As she walked home, the biting cold seemed less harsh. Her father's words stayed with her, reminding her that even in the coldest, darkest moments, there was a quiet strength and hope waiting to be found.